Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Namaskaram. Welcome to all to the 16th episode of Śiva-Bodha-Mālikā. In the last episode, we saw how Parameshwara or Lord Shiva is the source of all music. Today, we shall be seeing the form of Shiva as Naṭarāja, the Lord of Dance. It is a very, very popular form of Shiva that needs very less explanation and has been so elaborately and vividly explained by so many scholars and artists across the globe. This episode will just give a sneak peek view into some of the key aspects of the form of Naṭarāja. The very first aspect of Shiva as the Lord of Dance, we find reference in the Thevaram hymns of Tirujñāna Sambandar, where Sambandar says in the very first Padigam, he says, Marai kalanda oli padalodadaragi maluvendi. Marai kalanda oli padalodu adalaragi. So the concept of Shiva singing or the source of music is already there, and Adal. So he is dancing, singing the Vedas. Marai Kalanda Oli, along with the Marai, along with the Vedas. So Shiva is portrayed here as the Lord of Dance, right in the Thevaram hymns. You also have a very famous shloka, which is the prelude shloka to the Maheshwara Sutrani, to the Maheshwara Sutras of the Panini Ashtadhyayi, which explains about the origin of the various vowels and consonants. The aksharas, the vowels and consonants itself originated, it is said in that shloka, from the dakka. Shiva playing the dakka or the damaru. Shiva plays the dakka and the damaru, and from that originates the various consonants and various vowels. The shloka says, Nrityavasane Naṭarāja Rajaha Nanada Dhakkam Navapanchavaram Uddhartu Kamaha Sanakadi Siddhan Etad Vimarshe Shivasutra Jalam. Navapanchavaram, 9 plus 5, 14 times Shiva plays the dhakka or the damaru, and out of that the 14 sutras, Maheshwara Sutrani, these are all the various consonants and vowels in Samskrita Bhasha. They come from there. The entire Ashtadhyayi starts from there, from the Maheshwara Sutrani, and then goes on. And then Panini explains around the Vyakarana Shastra. So, Nrityavasane Naṭarāja Rajaha. At the end of the Nritya, Naṭarāja sounds the dhamaru or the dhakka. So here again there is reference to the fact that Shiva is originally the Lord of Dance. And then through the dhakka, the entire origination of language, the entire source of language, Samskrita language, Samskrita Bhasha, comes from the playing of the dhakka. So these are the various anecdotal aspects related to Shiva as the Lord of Dance. As a Lord of Dance, as Naṭarāja, Shiva is enshrined primarily in the temple of Chidambaram, Tillai, as it is also referred to in the Thevaram hymns. In this form of Shiva, holding the damaru, holding the fire, Agni, having the Anugraha, Mudra, with a raised leg, with one leg placed on Apasmara or ignorance, ego. This form of Shiva represents literally the cycle of birth and death, creation and destruction entirely encapsulated, and anugraha, mukti, the liberation from the cycle of birth and death, also, all of these aspects encapsulated in this single form of Parameshwara or Shiva as Lord Naṭarāja. So Chidambaram, Chit Ambaram. Chit is the cave of the heart. Ambaram. Ambaram refers to the dress, refers to the attire. So the one who is having Chit, having that very heart, that consciousness itself as his attire. Ambaram also refers to the Akasha. So Chit Akasha, Chidakasham, the entire space, sky of Chit, of consciousness. So this is what is represented in Chidambaram. We will speak about Chidambaram in detail in one of our upcoming episodes. But today the focus is on the form of Parameshwara as Naṭarāja. There is this form of Parameshwara is presented in various sculptures, and the dance of Shiva in the various karanas, various postures are represented in different temples of South India, in different postures, in different forms. Now, we shall know more about the form of Naṭarāja and the significance and symbolism behind it from Vidushi Aishwarya Harish, who is a disciple of Vidushi Jayashree Rajagopalan, who is a direct disciple of Padma Bhushan, Dr. Padma Subramaniam. So let's now listen and see about the significance of the Naṭarāja posture from Aishwarya.
Namaskaram. I am Aishwarya Harish, daughter and disciple of Dr. Jayashree Rajagopalan and disciple of Dr. Padma Subramaniam. The Nritta Karanas are the basic units of dance mentioned in the Natya Shastra, which is the oldest extant treatise on the art of dramaturgy ascribed to Bharata Muni. These Nritta Karanas had gone out of vogue sometime in the 12th century in the north and 14th century in the south, and it has been my Parama Guru, Padma Bhushan, Dr. Padma Subramaniam, who through her research has revived these Nritta Karanas and brought them back into practice. The Karanas were wrongly understood as poses. The sculptures on the wall were taken to be the entire pose of the Karana, which my Guru says is not the correct interpretation. Through her research, she has affirmed that these are movements, and every sculpture only forms a moment in the movement. When she did her research combining the sculptures of 5 southern temples, she could reconstruct each one of these 108 movements. Today I will be demonstrating the 24th Karana, which is the Bhujanga Trasiddha Karana. This Karana is performed this way. Dhinna Tam Tat Takka Dhinna Tat Dhin Tat Tam Dhinna Tam Tat Takka Dhinna Tat Dhin Tat Tam Tam Tat Takka Dhinna Tat Dhin Tat Tam Kita Tam Tat Takka Dhinna Tat Dhin Tam. Now here we can see that as the movement begins, we come to the famous frieze of the Naṭarāja pose, and it continues to a completion of the movement. According to Bharata Muni in the Natya Shastra, Bharata learns these 108 movements that add aesthetic beauty to the art of dance and drama from Lord Shiva himself, which is why he is considered to be the Lord of Dance. Now in the Naṭarāja Murti, we can see that the entire philosophy of life is covered with the right hand being in Abhaya Hasta, the left foot is raised, the right foot stands upon the Apasmara Purusha, the left hand is in a Dola Hasta across the chest, pointing towards the raised left foot. The secondary arms are shown with a Dhamaru on the right and fire on the left. Let me take each one and explain. The Abhaya Hasta is to show protection. The raised left foot is what is granting the moksha. The right foot stamping upon Apasmara, which is ignorance, so he subdues or annihilates ignorance and grants moksha, where the left hand points towards that foot for salvation. The raised right hand, which holds the Dhamaru, signifies sound, which is the source of life, and the raised left hand, which holds fire, is again symbolic of dissolution of all of that which is negative. Only when there is dissolution, there can be creation, and thus Naṭarāja or Shiva is symbolic of that cosmic tattva that keeps the universe in its natural cycle.
I hope all of you enjoyed the session today and it was informative. Do keep watching the sessions on Subhu's Corner. Do share and subscribe and share with interested people. Until we meet next, Namaskara.